Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The clothing we wear is more than an extension of who we are as individuals. It is one of the most popular mechanisms for social interaction. When we see somebody who is dressed similar to us, it is in our DNA to be drawn to them, to want to get to know them. Yet, the clothing you wear today might not represent who you are tomorrow, or you might just be bored of it. Updating your wardrobe comes at no little cost. The average consumer spends around $1,800 every year on clothing they'll rarely wear. Within 1 year, 40% of that will be in a landfill. And after just one use, 16% of it is thrown away. Every year, this contributes 92 million tons of textile waste to landfills in the US alone. Yet, in 2018, 64% of women had a willingness to purchase secondhand clothing. So what's the problem? Where is the gap? We talked to them. They don't want to deal with shipping, and they absolutely hate waiting a week for a shirt that just doesn't fit right. They have no platform to alleviate these problems.
But we have a solution. Swapr is a peer-to-peer location-based mobile application that allows the user to swap clothing by connecting them with like-minded people. But how does it work? First, you upload a piece you want to exchange. Then you swipe through other people's clothing in your hyper-local area. Once you get a match, you can chat in the app and set up a location for personal exchange near you. With Swapr, looking amazing is free, simple, and social. And the best thing about it, once you get bored of the piece, you can just throw it back to the app and look for a new swap.
In New York State, our total accessible market is $36 billion. When we break that down further to consider young adult women and consider that 64% willingness to purchase secondhand clothing, we get $12 billion. We believe in our first year, we can generate at least $220,000 in the area surrounding NYU, New York alone.
Unlike other online secondhand marketplaces such as Depop or ThredUp, with Swapr, updating your wardrobe is no longer transactional, but rather a fun, social activity that creates communities through circular fashion.
In order to go to market, we are going to launch a social media campaign that advocates for a circular fashion industry. We are also going to use targeted advertising on platforms such as Instagram and Reddit to make potential users aware of our solution. We are also going to begin developing partnerships with sustainable companies, and we are also going to work very closely with universities, beginning with New York University. We're going to work with NYU New York Student Life in order to incorporate a clothing exchange event in their orientation week. We want to provide all NYU students full access to our application for 3 months. At the end of the semester, we're going to host a fashion show featuring NYU's top 20 swappers of the semester and invite both fashion and sustainable advocates such as Tim Gunn and Marie Kondo to host the event.
In order to generate revenue, our application will operate on a freemium model in which our premium users enjoy a set of features that are not available on the free version, such as they can already see who liked their pictures even before getting their first match. Later on, we would like to partner with local, sustainable companies in order to increase their brand awareness as well as ours. Eventually, we would like to provide our users with direct access to green quality clothing and accessories. I'm Sara, and this is Dominick. With my experience in UX design and his passion for public service and sustainability, we are the perfect team to change the fashion industry. We are also actively looking for a CTO who can join us in the next 6 months in order to seamlessly iterate and update our application. Now we are asking for $40,000 from an investor who has experience working with sustainable startups. 40% of this will go into an online and offline marketing campaign, and 60% will directly go into a 6-month development of the application.
We envision a future where landfills no longer have piles of clothing. We envision a future where everybody doesn't regret being who they are. We envision a future where every community is an open closet.
Start swapping. Join us in the fashion revolution.
So there's a local startup called Shed, right? Have you heard about it? They do Shed.
Shed? I believe it's no longer operational.
Yeah, and what was the reason for that?
Shed was operating here in the MENA region. We quickly discovered through our market research and customer discovery, this is not the best market for us. That's why in our total accessible market, we are looking specifically at New York State. We've identified 3 potential markets. Most of it's US, Western Europe, and Latin America. The MENA region is not quite for us, not yet.
I don't think so. Come, just look at the clothes at home, and you will see that this is the perfect market for you. Okay, can you just repeat the business model you are working on?
These we have to research which features we want to make premium. That's why we're going to launch in NYU in New York and kind of use the students as to test which features are more likely to be used and then make those for $6.
So not yet for every swap you will make a fee or something, not yet?
No.
Not in the first 3 months.
Eventually, we want to provide feature sustainable companies that are producing sustainable clothing, and we'll sell that on the app, but it'll primarily be swapping, clothing exchange.
Okay.
So the 64% of women that you reached out to, did you personally reach out to them, or it was a research project? Or?
That's actually a global average from 2018. The people that we reached out to about 68 people. Only one person has never done clothing exchange.
And like, what age group was this? Like students or?
Yeah, it was primarily students and some individuals up to 28.
That's the market that you're looking at. Yeah.
Yes.
Condition of the clothes and size, and how do you deal with this stuff?
So
I mean,
all of
it's up to the user to sort of characterize the items themselves?
Yes, we actually, I just went too far, sorry about that. We're actually including a feedback system in our application. If you look at our last picture, you'll notice that this individual has 4 stars next to their name. So the quality that you are promising and whether or not the exchange is completed, if you give them terrible quality clothing that they were not expecting, you will get a low rating, which means that people will be less likely to exchange with you.
But at the beginning, what are you doing? Are you're taking photos and putting it on
so
the
the
app?
users will take pictures of their clothing.
The application will focus only on clothes, or it will include shoes, purses, bags, I don't know.
So we don't want to include clothes that have a high resale value. So it's not going to be shoes and bags, mostly clothes.
What about copyright, like the fake clothes brands? What you're going to do?
So we haven't exactly figured out how to deal with that right now. It's not the biggest deal in the US, it is underground, but most, at least in the US, most people are pretty good at keeping that under control. But we've noticed that it's still a problem. Depop is littered with fake clothing or people trying to sell Supreme logos for $8 on t-shirts that they just printed. We haven't figured out how to solve that problem just yet.
So a swap would, I think comparatively it will be difficult. Like let's say if somebody just likes a sweater and she wants to buy it, she would want to have that feature on the app as well, because maybe she doesn't have something to swap. Or maybe the seller doesn't like the sweater that she has, right? So have you thought about that?
Yeah, so since it's a two-side problem, like they both have to like each other's piece in order to make the exchange. That's the point of the whole app.
Yep. We decided not to include any monetary value to begin with, especially because the second you say you can sell this for $5, nobody's going to want to exchange because they can think that they can gain monetary value rather than a valued exchange.